Okay, mayong buntag sa tanan. So, klaro ba akong tingog? Kindly comment there para maka-start na ta. Is my voice audible? Anyone who can confirm? Okay, thank you, DXNNYYY. Klaro, sir. Okay, let's start. So, today, our topic is about the modifiers of human acts, part 1. Okay, napa may part 2 next week. So, unsa man yung modifiers of human act? Makabalo naman taon sa human acts. So, kining modifiers meaning makapa-change sa imuhang behavior from normal to dili normal. Okay? So, we have here the contents. So, dito lang ta sa main topic, modifiers of human acts. We have the first five modifiers of human acts. Kaya ang part 2 mo itong paingon sa 6 paingon sa 10. So here we have the first five. We have ignorance, passion, fear, violence, and habit. Under sa ignorance, we have four subtopics. We have simple ignorance, invincible ignorance, conquerable ignorance, and affected ignorance. And then under sa passion, we have three, concupiscible passions, irascible passions, and sensible passions. So under sa concupiscible passions, we have love, hate, and desire. While under irascible passions, we have hope, despair, and courage. Under sensible passions, we have joy, sadness, and anger. Now, sa fear, so we have three subtopics under fear: servile fear, filial fear, and initial fear. Then we also have violence and three subtopics: physical violence, verbal violence, and psychological violence. And lastly, for the part 1 of modifiers of human acts, we have habit. So we have here good habit, bad habit, and mixed habit. Okay, so we have here the learning outcomes. So we have 15 learning outcomes. So kamo na ang mag-read ani. Okay? Okay, taas-taas ya para dili madugay ang ato ang time. So in your free time, kindly read learning outcomes for this chapter. 15 kabuok. Ang pinaka-importante ana is ang number 15. Apply the knowledge in real world situations. Okay? So let's proceed with the chapter quotation. So according to this quote, our objectives, the situations we find ourselves in, and the results we produce all have an impact on the essence of what we do and how our character is built. So what does this quotation emphasizes? It emphasizes, is nasa box, the interconnectedness of our goals, the context we navigate, and the outcomes we achieve in shaping our character. It suggests that our actions, driven by our objectives, are not isolated events but integral components of our character development. It underscores the idea that our choices and the circumstances we engage with contribute to the fundamental nature of who we are. It also implies that the alignment of our goals with ethical considerations and the thoughtful consideration of the situations we encounter play a crucial role in molding our character. Ultimately, the outcomes we produce serve as reflections of our values and principles. influencing the overall construction of our character over time. Okay, so let's proceed sa main topic. So we have here the modifiers of human acts, part 1. So first we have the ignorance. So ignorance, we have four types. Simple ignorance, invincible ignorance, conquerable ignorance, and lastly, affected ignorance. So ato siyang i-short. So what is simple ignorance? First, what is ignorance? Sabi ni Saya pa na ay ignorante. Okay, so simple ignorance refers to a lack of knowledge or awareness regarding a specific moral issue or circumstance. It occurs when a person is unaware of the moral principles or ethical concerns pertinent to a certain situation. So we have here an example. Someone, for example, may be oblivious for environmental effects of their behavior because they have not been exposed to climate change. So kita po diri sa Pilipinas, for example lang, we are ignorant of the snow or the idea of the snow. Kaya nga naman, I think most of us wala experience sa snow. Makita lang nato siya sa TV, internet, movies, kanang snow. But personally, I don't have experience sa snow. So, I am ignorant of the snow. Although we have the idea of what a snow is, but we don't have the actual experience of touching or tasting the snow. Okay? So next, we have invincible ignorance. It happens when a person lacks knowledge or information despite making reasonable efforts to gain it. Meaning, di paninguha gid niya na makakuha siya knowledge about a certain topic. Okay? In other words, the person is not to blame for their ignorance because they have done everything possible to become aware. In terms of ethics, this form of ignorance may reduce moral responsibility to some level. For example, while attempting to stay up with legal developments, a person may unwittingly violate a law because they were ignorant of recent modifications to it. So, unsa man to mga balaod nga gi-modify. Okay, so kasagara atong panahon sa atong kapanahonan gid sa COVID, ga-change na to ang balaod diri sa isla regarding sa pag-in ug out sa isla kay tungod sa COVID. So kung dili ka aware nga naay changes adto, tawag nato na siyang invincible ignorance kay wala man ka nakabalo although you you are making efforts to know that kind of balaod or no diri sa isla. Also, we have another example nga invincible ignorance ang nasa usa ka tao, labi na ka ng mga terrorist, silbi, nagsakay ka sa bus, wala ka kabalo nga naa di ay bomba. So, wala kay knowledge ang imuhang sakyan. So, unsaon mo pag kalit lang magluto. So, muna siyang invincible ignorance. You are not to blame for it. Okay? So next, we have conquerable ignorance. It occurs when an individual lacks knowledge or information as a result of their own negligence or unwillingness to make reasonable steps to become informed. So this form of ignorance does not reduce moral responsibility because the individual could have prevented it with greater attention. For example, if a person avoids reading about the ethical implications of their business operations in order to maintain plausible deniability, they are demonstrating conquerable ignorance. So, another example ani is kanang mag-quiz ko or mag-oral pero maingon nga wala nag-study bisan na sa GC ang studyhan. So, conquerable ignorance na siya. Naana dito ang imong studyhan pero maingon nga wala naka-study bisan naana dito. Okay? And lastly, under ignorance, we have affected ignorance, also known as willful ignorance, arises when a person chooses to remain ignorant about a topic while having access to information. So, for example, suppose you are aware that some clothing manufacturers use child labor in their manufacturing processes, but you chose not to research whether your favorite brand does as well. So, your purposeful decision not to investigate the topic exemplifies affected ignorance. Okay? So, in conclusion, under ignorance, with its various forms, underlines the importance of knowledge and awareness in ethical decision making. It responsibility for the learning, fostering a more informed and responsible society. Next, here we have passion. So there are how many types of passion mentioned in this chapter? So we have three: concupiscible, irascible, and what's the third one? Sensible passion. Okay, so passion is defined as powerful emotions or deep feelings that might impact our behavior and decisions. So, ang passion ko no, makapa-change sa imong behavior. Okay? Kinsa may nag-decide diri nga emotionally. Wala think ng ilang mga actions kay tungod lang sa emotion. Labi na kung masuko. Okay? So, it is critical to acknowledge that our emotions can have a substantial impact on our actions and their ethical consequences. So, for example, consider your witness, fellow student being bullied by a group of peers or fellow students. You interfere to protect the victim because you are outraged by the injustice, even if you may not have a personal relationship with them. Your compassionate response is motivated by empathy and a feeling of justice, demonstrating how a strong desire to do the right thing can positively impact your behavior. So, meron pa sa three types or subcategories of passion. So first, we discuss concupiscible passion. So what is concupiscible passion? These are passions, a set of emotions and appetites. These passions have a huge impact on our actions and decision makings. So we have here love, hate, and desire as primary concupiscible passions. So what is love? Kapit ra ba Valentine's Day? Walay love. So love is a strong and positive emotion that draws us to something we think good, appealing, or useful. It can be the affection we feel for our family, our friends, or romantic love for a partner, or even love for an interest or a cause. Ay ganahan kay din sa mga sakinan, cars, love ni mo mga cars, or depende kung sa iyong passion. Next, we have hate. Uh, It is a negative emotion that drives us away from what we consider to be harmful, unpleasant, or dangerous. It might be a strong dislike for a person, katong dili mo ganahan na tao, hate nimo siya, a circumstance, mo bang kuan karon sa imong kinabuhi karon, bisan hate nimo, yan ha. Kay wala ka makauyon, or wala ni kuan sa imong gusto. Then we also have an idea. We hate an idea. Lastly, under passion, we have concupiscible passion, we have desire. So desire is a passion that occurs when we long for or wish to acquire something that we find appealing. Kung sa may yung mga desire karon, so, na siya. It could be a tangible property, okay? Sa mga tangible property, gusto ka nakay bago nga cellphone, smartphone, iPhone 15 Pro, Max, 1 terabyte. So, muna siya example sa mga tangible property. We also have here social rank. So, sa mga social rank for students, so, pande ay elected student officers, diba? CSG president, or classroom mayor. So, social rank, or even a personal accomplishment. So, if you want to excel in your studies, for example, this desire might motivate you to work hard, set objectives, and put in effort to achieve academic achievement. So, sama na siya. Desire ba ninyo na magpasar sa akong subjects? So, dapat mag-study. Okay? So, dapat na desire appeal. So, next, type of passion, we have irascible passion. It is a set of emotion that govern how we react to challenges and unpleasant situations. They have an important part in how we deal with hardship and can have a considerable impact on our moral decision making. So we have hope, despair, and courage as the three basic irascible passions. So first, hope. It is a good and optimistic emotion that occurs when we wish and anticipate a happy outcome in the midst of difficulties or uncertainties. Sure ba ka ha, nga makagraduate on time? Diba? Yan ha. So hope na to graduate on time. Diba? So kung dili mo graduate on time, hope dia po nimo nga graduate malag dili maka-appeal sa inyong batch. Okay? That's part of hope. So it is the belief that things will improve or that we will be able to overcome adversity. Okay, kung nakay problema karon, hope nimo nga at the end of the day, masubad na ang problem. Okay? So next, despair. It is a negative emotion that arises when we feel overwhelmed and hopeless in the face of hardship. Murag wala na kay paglaom, despair. It's the sense of giving up or that things will never get better. So we have here an example. If you have a string of failures and setbacks in your job ambitions, you may experience despair and believe that success is unattainable. So despair can be paralyzing and demotivating, leading to inactivity and retreat from pursuing one's objectives. So napiuban nga mga ma-despair tungod lang kay nagdula sa Mobile Legends. Perminti lang sila kapildi. Kaya nga na uban, despair sila. Hindi na din sila ganahan magdula. Okay? Kaya uban na delete din ang account. Don't give up, ML players. Next, we have courage. So courage is a powerful virtue that involves confronting obstacles even when they are accompanied by fear or danger. It is the ability to act bravely and do what is right despite the risk involved. Standing up for someone who is being bullied, laban na diri sa ato ang eskwelahan, it requires courage because it involves a potential conflict or reaction from others. Mahadlok, basin di ay ikaw ang inuoy mo ibuli, so it takes courage, ha, to stand up to bullying. Okay? So courage is required in numerous areas of life, including pursuing personal growth, speaking up for justice, and facing difficult decisions with integrity. And then next we have the last category sa passion. We have sensible passion. Sensible passions are type of emotions that are caused by external events, meaning outside events or experiences. These emotions are closely tied to our sensory impressions and can have a substantial impact to our moral decision making and behavior. So we have three major sensible passions. We have joy, sadness, and anger. So first, joy. Joy is a positive, happy sensation that arises when we encounter something delightful, delicious, or gratifying. So example ano makita ni mo imong crush, happy ka, di ba? Magisi-ngisi ka, imong smile abot sa dunggan. So, mo na siya ang joy. We also have simple pleasures, examples of joy, such as spending quality time with your loved ones or watching movies also can bring us joy. Next, we have sadness. Sadness is a negative feeling that arises as a result of loss, disappointment, or discontent. Sabi, sad ka kay namatyan mo. Example na siya. Na-disappoint ka kay wala ka nakapasar sa midterm or finals. Sad ka. Discontent. Discontento ka sa imong kinabuhi kay imo i-compare na ang uban na pero ikaw. So sad gyapon ka. So dapat we should be contented of what we have para dili ta masad. Okay? So next, we have anger. Anger is a strong and intense feeling that occurs when we are provoked, intimidated, or treated unfairly. So when we observe unfairness or injury, we feel frustrated, irritated, or offended. So kanos ama ka pwede masuko? Anger. Kanos ama? Kanos ama ka discriminate? Na. So you feel anger. Sa paubanan ni injustice. Feel anger. And then we have number three, modifier of human act. We have fear. Fear is the emotional response we have when we confronted with perceived threats or hazards or kahadlok na to sa Bisaya pa. Okay, so pila ka types of fear? We have three. So we have servile fear, filial fear, and initial fear. So first, servile fear is a type of fear caused by the threat of punishment or damage. So naanay hatag nga example. A person may stop from stealing because they are afraid of getting caught and facing legal consequences. Okay? Diba? Mahadlok mo ika nga mangawat. Ikabalo magka kung madakpan ka nga nangawat, mapriso ka or before pa ka mapriso, makulatahan pa ka. So that is servile fear. Next is filial fear. So filial fear is often referred to as reverential fear from the word reverent. It's a fear that arises from love and respect for authority or a higher force. It is the fear of upsetting or acting against the will of someone or something highly regarded. So for example here, religious individual, so kung Kristiyano, na priest, Sa other religion, mga ministers, sa kauban na ngalan, mahadlok ka nga i-offend sila. Love and respect for authority. Mahadlok po ka, buhaton ng isa kabutang kay mahadlok ka sa Ginoo or kanggan. Okay, so bilang siya, fear of God is filial fear. Next, violence. So violence is defined as the use of physical force or aggression to cause hurt, injury, or damage to others. So it has a significant impact on how we act and ethical implications of our judgment. So there are three primary types of violence that is included in this chapter. We have physical violence, verbal violence, and psychological violence. So physical violence, may bawaan na ito katong gigamit na force, physical force. Anang manumbag, maglaparo, maniko. So that is example of physical violence. But how about verbal violence? So, an example ani, verbal violence is the use of abusive language. So, sa mga abusive language, kabalo na mo ka na magkuan, mamalikas, threats, or intimidation to inflict emotional or mental harm on another. So, sa may example sa mga verbal violence, kanang name calling, nang kamakuan, ba, bahaw ilok, itong, at ba, pisot, na, kaya siya mga name calling. Kaya kung insultuhon ka, pili siya sa mga nan mga verbal violence, humiliation, criticism, katong relentless criticism, permanente na lang kay criticize. And humiliating statements are example of this verbal violence. And last, under sa violence, we have psychological violence. It extends beyond verbal aggression to include a broader variety of damaging acts that attacks a person's feelings, self-worth, and mental well-being. It entails manipulating, controlling, or undermining someone's psychological and emotional state. So we have here gaslighting, emotional manipulation, threats of damage, and separating someone from their support networks are all examples of psychological violence. And then we have number 5, modifier. We have habit. So there are three types of habits mentioned here: good habit, bad habit, and mixed habit. So as mentioned sa previous na itong topic, habits are patterns of behavior that we form through time as a result of repeated acts. It has a significant impact on how we behave and the ethical implications of our judgment. So let's discuss good habit. So, some mga good habit. So it is also referred sometimes as virtue. It is a constant positive behavioral characteristic that encourages someone to regularly act morally and make moral decisions. Over time, virtues are cultivated by a person's repeated good deeds and become embedded in their personality, meaning na-appeal na sa ilang kinaiya ang kanang good habit. So may mga good habit, mag-pray before and after mag-sleep, consider siya as good habit. We have also here virtues like honesty, bravery, compassion, integrity, and patience as examples of good habits. The cultivation of virtues results in moral excellence and enhances both individual and societal well-being. Bad habit. Okay, so usually referred to as vice or kanang bisyo. It is a consistent, unfavorable disposition of character, a feature that leads someone to consistently act immorally and make bad decisions. Repeated behaviors that are damaging, immoral, or odds with moral standards can also lead to vices. Sa so, mga vices kasagara, kay kanang pagpamakak or dishonesty, greed, arrogance, brutality, kanang laziness are few examples of vices. Vices can degrade morals and hurt both the individuals and others. Sa pauban ano yung mga vices, kanang mag 11 hour, tingpas na sa activity, pero aya pa din siya maghimo. So, mga siya example, mag-quiz or exam, 30 minutes before mag-quiz or exam, aya pa mag-study sa 11th hour. Dali-dali. Okay? So next, we have mixed habit. It is a blend of positive and harmful habits within a person. So mix kuno sa positive o negative na habit or katong good habit or bad habit. So for example, ani, sa katao nga perminti lang mag-exercise every morning, the jogging siya, walking or cycling, biking, pero naa siya bad habit. Okay? While the exercise siya or pagkahuman sa exercise, nagsigarilyo din siya. So, muna siya mix good and bad habit. Nag-exercise pero the sigarilyo po siya. Okay? So, that's mixed habit. So, in conclusion, para sa part 1 sa modifiers of human acts, before we go on, kindly chat again your full name for your attendance. So, ikaduha ta mag-check sa attendance. Pinaka first o pinaka last. Okay, so kindly chat again your full name para sa inyong attendance. Okay, so these modifiers, human acts, this first five, give a framework for making ethical decisions as we navigate the intricacies of human behavior. Recognizing their influence enables individuals to have a greater awareness of their activities, resulting in a more ethical, caring, and accountable society. As we consider these modifiers of human acts, we are reminded of the dynamic interplay between personal behavior and ethical norms that govern our interactions with the world. And finally, the modifiers of human acts examined in this chapter highlights the complex interplay between personal activity and ethical issues. Ignorance, passion, fear, violence, and habit are all crucial variables in determining the morality of human behavior. Each modifier adds a unique dimension to the ethical landscape, altering the assessment of an individual's accountability for their actions. So that is it for this part 1 sa modifiers of human acts. I will see you Wednesday for our quiz sa chapter 5. And then sa class treasurer, kindly collect 6 pesos for the chapter activity para sa chapter 5 to be passed on Friday. Pwede nyo makuha anytime, either today, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Basta kayo pass siya, choose Thursday or Friday. Okay, so that is it. Thank you for participating sa ating online class. and God bless. Live stream has ended.
Ikaw, si Ma'am Daan. Ma'am, yung version mo ko, Ma'am Jen. Ako version sa call ba?
Pansin na na lang ako all.
With the, sa call.
Kaya ang ano na tayo, wala na lang ako iwan.
Kapag sa,
Ang pansin sa akin sa kwan. Sir, wala na kita sir.
What? Di ba nag-reels eh?
Gulot-gulot na nandito sa babaw. Tagalaw.
Chay, baby. Grabe mo mo. Ano pinakabot din eh. Ako sa so.
Hello? Nag-worry yung pinagaling si Sir Daphne. Dahil sa wala pa sa bani mo yung muli kasi mga sana kahit na meron yung mga numbers na. Ako tapos. Paano kasi? Mabisayan ito talaga. Igang days ago was in it. Like,
Diba sila ko din 50 years or more?
Mark,
Ha? Balik lang ako din ni Janice makabot siya.
ay sir, di ako naman na ako sir.